But Bev, if you could just start us off with your thoughts on how things have gone so far, and obviously had a chance yesterday with the scrimmage against Houston to see things live, but just your thoughts on how the team's doing.
Absolutely. We met as a staff last night and we met as a staff again this morning. And I think we're very happy with where the group is in reference to understanding the concepts we're trying to present with what we want to look like in the build and how we want to press. And I think for us, obviously being this early and continuing to hone in on the detail and ensure that the players are in a good space come the start of the season has been a big piece for us. And so obviously very pleased in the sense of seeing the concepts present themselves. Now it's how consistently we can act in those moments to ensure that we're doing what we need from what we're trying to expose. And yeah, I think, right now we're in a position to see it live, to now break down the film, to now present the film. And it's nice to play against obviously an NWSL side this early, to be presented with different problems to see how we can continue to execute what we want to look like in those moments.
Questions for Bev? We'll start with Michael.
Without sharing too much, can you just tell us a little bit about the matches that happened with Houston from just how pleased you were with the performances, I guess, in a nutshell?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously it's nice, right? When you're playing inter squad scrimmages, and you're doing exercises to present different scenarios and different situations throughout training, it's different now to have other players to do that against and a different formation to do that against. And so seeing what we've been teaching from the group of what we'd like to see now, a different team, different personnel, different formation is presenting different problems for us to then discuss. And so I think for us, it was very nice to be able to obviously get players minutes, right? To check the fitness aspect, those types of pieces, but also to see where we're at and how we can continue to push what our expectations are. And like I said, our goal is to be as consistent as possible in the expectations of what we want to look like as a group come the start of season. And so knowing that we have still these 5.5 weeks or so to play with to ensure that we get to that space come the start of the season, we feel very confident with where we're at right now. And again, it's not supposed to be perfect right now. And I think it's important that that communication is spoken to the group. Right now, there should be a lot of kinks that we're working out. You want to work all that out right now as much as possible. But the effort, the understanding, the want to learn, the want to play, and kind of the framework we're trying to build is very present from the group. And so for that, obviously, it makes me really excited for what we could look like here come the start of the season.
Let's go to Paul Miles next.
Yeah, hey Bev, a couple of weeks into training, what players are you seeing that are taking on a leadership role on the pitch, and what specifically are they doing that shows that leadership skills?
Yeah, I think for us, like obviously very excited from a competition perspective. I think the group is incredibly competitive. I think it's a nice mix in regards to where people are at in their careers, whether that's just starting, whether that's their second year in the league, whether that's a very a heavy NWSL veteran, if you will. And so I think the way that the group's meshing together and how the leadership looks is very different and kind of ever evolving with the group and where they're at in their careers. And I think it's just been fun to watch. I think they're excited for what we believe we can succeed as a group. And I think for us, it's been fun to just see the different leaders step up in different capacities.
Are there specific players that you can name that you think are going to lead this team through the season?
I'd say that I'd go more importantly, I'd say that there's going to be different types of leaders throughout the different spaces of the season, if you will. Obviously, there's your very natural leaders that have been in the league for as long as they have to help guide these rookies. But I'd say, I mean, if I go down the list, I'll give you a name in every capacity, because I'd say this is the one leading these players in the sense of it's their first year in the league. I'd say this middle group, this is the 1 or 2 players that's leading the middle group to understand how to be able to push their game. And then I say the older group's kind of leading in every capacity. So I actually think that's what's so special about this group is that there's multiple leaders and they kind of share that leadership in what the moments are and what's being given.
Thank you.
Of course.
Becky, go ahead.
Hey, Bev. Raylan Turner seems like she is off to a very good start. We saw her, at least in the footage that was released today, score a goal against Houston in the scrimmage yesterday. Can you tell us a little bit what you've seen from her and what you think she might bring to the team this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's been great. I think she has come in and has really shown what she's capable of. And she's really shown a unique ability to want to learn in whatever's expected of her. And I'm big on that. I want players in this environment that want to be coached. It's very, very difficult to help a player when they are not in some capacity coachable. And again, I think this group is so special in that space as well. And to add someone of her caliber on top of her willingness to be coached, I think she has a very, very high ceiling that we're excited to continue to push.
Thank you.
Of course.
Caitlin, go ahead.
Hi, Bev.
Hi.
So we are still waiting on the announcement of the other assistant coach. However, you do have Mitch right now. Can you talk a little bit about how the roles of assistant coaches, how do they make your job easier? What purpose do they serve? And how has Mitch been so far?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And I think for us, it's been very seamless. Obviously, having the opportunity to work with Sergio previously and all that he provides in his role as well. And then to add someone like Mitch, it was very clear early on. I obviously previously knew Mitch, but it was very easy early on to comprehend how much he sees the game the way that I do and how he's teaching those little details that I'm very specific on. And he's been great for the group. There's been lots of players already going up to him, asking for individual clips, asking for individual advice, asking for advice in certain scenarios, whether that's in training to understand the spacing a little bit better, to understand their body shape a little bit better. So to have someone so detail oriented, involved in the group and high energy. Like one of the biggest things for me was I want a good person and I want someone that's going to provide that energy and that same passion that the players have in a coaching capacity. And I think he's done a fantastic job coming in, building a relationship really early on, being fun, being energetic, being passionate, so that the group is fully aware that he's here. He's invested in them as individuals and he's invested in the bigger picture. And I think for us, just the times now that we've continued to meet as a staff and get on the same page with what our expectations are from each unit and also each player individually, and obviously what we would like to see from the group has been very aligned in a lot of aspects. And I think he's brought a lot to this group.
Great. Thank you.
Of course.
A couple more for Bev. Michael, go ahead.
What are the advantages and are there any particular challenges being away from Louisville for the preseason?
Yeah, I think for us, it was an opportunity, obviously, to come to get some sunshine. Obviously, there's been a lot of rain here. I heard somebody say the other day, it's never rained. I've lived here for several years. It's never rained like this. I'm like, lovely. So I think the idea to just come all together, be in a space all together, right? Get some sunshine and have an opportunity to have a meeting space here, have the treatments here, all be in one space, travel to the training sessions together, have access to meeting rooms at the training space, and obviously just present like a little bit of a different picture, but us all being together all the time, if you will, and being able to look at individual clips. We come to lunch, we come to dinner, and we can pull a player here and there because we're together all day. And so I think it's really important early on to gain that bond as quickly as possible, obviously as a coaching staff and as a group as a whole. And so for us, I think it's been obviously incredibly beneficial in that space.
Any particular challenges though, being away for, it'll be 3 or 4 weeks before you return?
No, I think obviously when you go away, you're outside of your environment, right? And the routine that you may be used to back home. But I think for us, what we're looking to get out of it and what we're looking to get out of it from a group perspective, I think we need to find what those positive opportunities are. And so for us, it's just another opportunity for us to coach individual clips, obviously coach unit clips, obviously see bigger picture things. So I think there's a lot of positive to it. Obviously, it's just not being back at home, not being in that normal routine, but finding a routine here on the road, if you will.
Right,
Just
thanks, Bev.
one
course.
clarifying point, Michael, just for everyone, because it's not the first time I've had this asked a couple of times. So our team will be back in Louisville
Mhm.
on Saturday, Bev, right?
Yes.
And then we'll be in town for 2 weeks, and then we head out
Yes.
to Columbia on the 23rd. So they will be back in town just in time for it to start raining and be cold here again. Bev, today and tomorrow are the 2 warmest days so far this year that we've had in Louisville, and you guys are all the way across the country. So there you go. Paul, question?
Yeah, well, based on that, I suspect we'll speak with you before you leave for Columbia. But let me ask you now, what are you looking to get out of that trip for your team?
Yeah. I mean, I think for us, even the ideas of what we've gotten out of this particular experience this week, for example, when we come in next week and we start to pick up some academy games here and there, right now, can we ask those particular groups to present certain things to us, whether it's formation, whether it's specific nuances we've kind of seen already and that we think will present from different clubs during season. Now it's starting to build in those little pieces of how we get them as exposed as possible to different formations, different trends, different styles of players, this type of thing, right? And so I think for us going to Columbia, it's just another chapter on top of that. It's an opportunity to continue to build consistency leading into season. And I think we've tried to be very clear of what our expectations are of the group, both in possession and out of possession, but giving them the ideas of what to do in those moments and how to do it. And like I said, the group's been very positive, very open-minded to jumping into those concepts, and it makes it more fun for us as coaches to dive into that detail. So I think for us, it's just continuing to tread in the right direction and all of those spaces to ensure, obviously, come the start of season, we're in a good space.
Anything else for Bev? All right, you are off the hot seat, Bev. Thank you so much for your
Awesome.
time, and we'll see you in a
course.
couple of days.
Okay, thank you guys so much. Take care.